I'm pretty sure we are live now.
Hey everyone, Steve's here, board certified clinical nutritionist and naturopathic doctor. And I have Jason.
Hi, my name is Jason Steves. I am a clinical account specialist with Perk Integrative Health. Welcome to the Prosper Nutrition Show.
Good to have everybody here. And we're excited on the topic today. We're going to have some fun with this one. Can we change our age? That's the question. Well, we got some funny articles.
It's an interesting question. Can we change our age?
We asked someone, how old are you really? Well, I was born December 31st, 1958. So I'm 64 and a half years old. No, but what's my biological age? And could maybe that be, could I change my real birth date? So we're going to laugh at some of these articles today. I want to talk to you about how you can know your biological age.
Yeah.
Are your cells too old or are they too young? We've got just the equipment to share that with you, how our in-body machine is able to measure that, measure phase angles, cellular energy, and the life in the cells. We can get that done. So
the reason we are here.
We are here for a purpose.
Why are we here, Steve? Why are we here?
I'm here because I was stricken and afflicted.
Yeah.
And the path that it took me down got me so passionate that God heals and man can't, with his empty, vain ways of trying to use synthetic chemicals and cutting. And
we aren't the healers.
No, we aren't the healers. God is. Plant the seed, water it, and watch it heal, watch it grow.
That's we're looking at a different camera, if you didn't know that. Look at that light.
So what's our favorite scripture? That's foundation of prospernutrition.com.
3 John 2.
Beloved, above all things, we wish you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prosper.
We want you to prosper and be in health. And we're glad you're here. That's our goal. We want to evaluate news topics, which is what we're going to talk about today. Can you change your age? There's an article that Steve found by Harvard. That's an interesting conversation piece.
Yeah.
So we want to talk about these news topics, these articles that are on the news. If you have any articles that you'd like to get our input on, send them to us. We'd love to talk about them on the show. If you have questions, send them to us. You can put them in the chat. You can put them in the comments. You can email us at info@prospernutrition.com. We'd love for you to send live questions so that we can answer them at the end of the show. That's our goal, to continue to answer questions of yours at the end of the show. But we're going to cover these news topics. We're also going to share testimonies of healing. We're going to have other health professionals on. And so that's why we're here. We're wanting to give you guys the information that we have learned to help improve our health and the health of our clients. And we want you to prosper and be in health as a result. Amen. So we're here every Thursday at 3 p.m. approximately Central Standard Time Zone. Today, we had some technical issues, so we were a little late today. But
part of our delay was a really exciting thing to announce. We're going to actually get Mark and maybe even Fonda on there as well, and talk about setting up your own little chicken coop at home. We got a portable chicken coop in the back, 10 by 12. It's so cool. You don't even have to get your hands dirty getting the eggs, because the eggs go out on this. The chickens have a roosting area where they can lay the eggs, and it rolls back on these gentle little bristles, goes back into a compartment behind it, and you lift up this little compartment, and there are the eggs waiting for you whenever you go out. So anyway, that was part of our delay, but we're going to send this out so everybody can make sure they can get some of this information. It truly will be inspiring for you.
It's good to perspire when you exercise.
You'll be perspiring when you apply the things that we talk about. They'll get you sweating for sure.
So come and join us every Thursday at 3 p.m. so you don't miss out on what we're sharing. And the Prosper Nutrition Show is put on by prospernutrition.com. So if you visit prospernutrition.com and you want to get on our email list, go to prospernutrition.com. You can download the 7 proven steps. That guide actually has principles that we teach every day to clients in the clinic. We practice these principles every day. We try to get better and better at practicing these health principles. So the 7 proven steps guidebook is a free download. If you download it, you'll get on our email list and we'll keep you up to date of what's going on with us. As well, you can take a quiz, supplement needs quiz. Like if you're just getting started with supplements, or you kind of are wanting to get refreshed in regard to taking supplements, this quiz can kind of guide you to one of the bundles that we sell that would be a good start for you for the first 30 days. You take the supplements, it's a 30-day supply, and you feel the difference. And then it'll kind of help kind of launch you into practicing those 7 proven steps. So definitely get a bundle, get the free guide, take the quiz to know which bundle, and stay tuned for on the station. If you subscribe and hit the bell icon, you'll be notified whenever we go live or post any videos on our YouTube channel. So
yeah,
stay connected.
Be ready, because we are on the cusp of presenting a lot of videos on a lot of information and a lot of blog data. We're on a fast quest for that, because this information people are just hungry for, this truth that sets people free. And every principle of those 7 proven steps can be applied to every disease and see it reverse. And so when God says in Exodus 15:26, one of my favorites, if you'll hearken to the voice of the Lord your God and do what's right in his eyes, keep his commands and his decrees, then I'll put no disease upon you that I put upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord who heals you. So healing is a process. It takes time. Doesn't happen instantaneously, although sometimes it does. God can do that any way he chooses, but we know his healing principles. We know we're created in his image, in his likeness. You are designed to heal. Don't ever forget that. He wants to show you the path, and these 7 proven steps are all connected to that path that you need to walk to find that healing that you will find in your body.
So what's in the news, Steve? Tell us about this article, and I'm going to bring it up here, guys, for you to see it.
Here's our first one. Does the distinction between biological and chronological age support legal age change, which is kind of crazy. Some guy in I forget what country it was in this article, he's wanting to change his legal age because he's so healthy. He's 20 years younger than his actual chronological age of 69. Well, we're very familiar with this. In fact, we do this testing in our office. In fact, could you bring up in-body picture off the website of Nutrition Health Center? Just show them the device, and we're pulling more articles for that too, just like how to use an in-body device to see if you're reversing the negative effects of diabetes. So you're actually reversing diabetes by seeing more muscle gain, by seeing cellular energy increase, by seeing basal metabolic rate increase. So here it is. Go check this out. Why is body composition important to my health? View the sample report, view the BIA article, and we're going to get a couple more articles in there. I've actually sent those to Jason. We're just providing more information on how these tools can help you, and they're non-invasive tools to test for. You need to know what your body composition is doing, because people who have more muscle live longer, and people that don't live so long. Fat contributes to disease, metabolic syndrome, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, stroke, all of those, even cancer associated with these metabolic problems that can be reflected and easily identified in very inexpensive tests, the in-body exam. Now, we use the 770 machine. It is the Cadillac of their devices, and it does give more of the information based on biological age. I'll give you an example. I think I told you the story. When the Jason's sisters were in their early 20s, maybe in their late teens, they were not the healthiest creatures on the planet. College affected them. They were finding their own way. And so their biological ages were about in the 40s. So they were in their 20s, late teens, and they were much older because their cells were weak. They didn't have healthy water balance. They weren't doing the 7 proven steps by any means. So their mother, who at the time was in her mid 40s, had a biological age of about a 25-year-old. So basically, the mom was 20 years younger biologically than the kids. So that means that if we can change our legal age, according to this article, that means that the kids then would have to take care of the mom.
Yeah, right.
Well, anyway, it's a funny article if you want to read it and have a good laugh. Spend about 5 minutes in there. That's all you really need to in this Harvard. I like what they wrote, though. Scroll down a little bit. There's one that was a Dutchman that tried. The judge said, "No, we're not going to change your birthday. You were born."
Dutchman Emil.
Yeah, it's like changing your gender. You were born a certain gender. You were born a certain date, and that's it. God said, "There you are. Now make the best of it. I've got a plan for you, and it's good and not for evil, for hope in the future." Yeah, we've all been through hell here on earth, but God still loves us. He's still got a great plan for our life. We just need to get on that track. And that track for healing is for every part of our life. He wants to heal.
Yeah. So we were talking about this. The information that they're bringing up here in this article, and is there a part where you would like to read? We were talking about earlier.
Yeah, right here. Although little consensus exists on how exactly our biological age should be determined, and we have tools, like I said, our machine does a phase angle reading, which is cellular energy, and we associate that with, we have the biological age chart, which we'll give you with it. Different estimates have been proposed and used with promising results. So they have multiple devices that can do this. Some estimates of biological age predict mortality or onset of age-related diseases more accurately than chronological age. For instance, a multi-biomarker index of adults' biological age outperformed the chronological age in predicting subsequent increase in clinical significant depressive symptoms. That was one study. And there's more that are in here, the epigenetic information, effective DNA methylation in blood, all of these factors that we test for can increase. And that's what we're doing every day. You know, I like what you're doing on the physical side of things. This just goes beyond, of course, whatever you could even imagine when you started in this. God gave you that passion for helping people move their body in an appropriate way. And what would be a better fit than God would give you to me as a son with that passion, because I was diagnosed with a disease that was supposed to be debilitating and put me in a wheelchair, ankylosing spondylitis. And now with every part of my body, this guy is showing me how to get more mobility back in those tissues. Because I was told at age 25, you'll be in a wheelchair by age 30 or 40. I'll be 65 this year. And
yeah, that's awesome.
Thanks for making me more mobile.
Yeah. Well, and it's a process, but it's interesting here. We were talking about this. It says, since legal age change is something that has not been done before, it is natural that the first age change candidates are those who are harmed by ageism, discrimination due to age, either in the job market or elsewhere. Changing the legal age of a person to younger, i.e., changing the date of birth to better match her biological age, would thus likely to reduce the chances of being discriminated against because of her chronological age.
Good point. I'd like to use an example there. My dad is 88. We just went and celebrated his birthday. He worked in an office job as a manager. I think he quit when he was like 78, 10 years ago, something like that. At 78. But biologically, you know, at the time, he's probably about 15 years younger. So that was a good retirement age for him. They calculate most people to start retirement, around 65 to 70. But most people, by the time they get to that age, they're in such poor health that they're just relying on the system to keep them alive and well and moving forward with drugs and just revolving doors in medical clinics and doctors' offices. And what's the point? Just covering up symptoms. Let's learn how to live a full functioning life. Download those 7 proven steps and start right away. So you can say to others, you know what? I may be 65 years old, but I can run like a 35-year-old and move.
Right. So the topic is very interesting because a lot of people feel that they are, like what they're saying here, they're discriminated against because they're getting older. And
exactly
what we're trying to help you understand is that you can feel and look younger by making better choices. 7 proven steps are important keys. But you don't want to worry about your chronological age. That's not the question that you need to be worrying about. And it's interesting because we came across an article that talks a little bit about this. It says here, experts fear elderly billionaires will become immortal and compound their wealth and power, exacerbating inequality.
Okay, we'll give you a few minutes to laugh and get that belly laugh out of the way. Why people think the only mortality coming is when Christ resurrects us or takes us up. I'm excited about that day. We will.
Yeah. So this is by dailymail.com, and this is very, it's almost comical, but it says experts are airing concerns about deep-pocketed billionaires. It's saying experts. We found it was just one young person that's supposedly very smart. I mean, he probably is somewhat smart, but in a certain way. Anyway, so experts are airing concerns about deep-pocketed billionaires and anti-aging. Long just a pipe dream, the concept of a modern-day Methuselah, the biblical grandfather of Noah, who lived 969 years, is becoming more and more likely. Experts fear that deep-pocketed billionaires will soon be able to use their wealth to increase their lifespans, allowing them additional time to add to their fortunes. So this is something that if you haven't been looking and paying attention to, it's happening. The very wealthy people wanting to extend their lifespan, or even think that they can, try to live forever. And I mean, I don't know however many of them actually believe it, but God is pretty clear. God says, he says, the soul that sins will die. And he also says,
all have sinned.
All have sinned. So it's pretty clear 10 out of 10 people will die. And so we cannot escape death. So the objective in regard to our health is not trying to escape death. And we were talking about this. What is the objective in trying to take care of our health? When you're helping someone that's getting old, why are they in to see you? What's the problem?
We're put on this earth. It's explained in Ephesians 2, verse 8. By grace you have been saved through faith. It's not of your own. It's a gift from God, and no man can boast. You can't boast about what you do or your age. And then the next verse, verse 10, says that you were created in Christ Jesus as a worker for a workmanship. So he has a work for us to do. And that work is all the days of your life. There's no such thing as retirement in the kingdom of God. While we're on this earth, our retirement comes when we leave here. So we'll always be working and serving and helping people. Well, that's part of the eternal rewards at the Bema seat of Christ. When we come in glory, we'll be rewarded for the things that we do. So the longer you stay healthy, the longer you're alive, the more you can earn for what happens eternity in heaven. I want to see my children, my children's children. I want to see them blessed and prosper and causing other people to come to the kingdom, to allowing people to be saved, to be healed and delivered through the power of God that's in them. And so I'm planting the word of God in my family and living it out with them and wanting to leave a legacy for them. But I wasn't taught that by my parents. They didn't understand it. Their parents didn't teach what it was to build and leave a legacy. But we want to leave a legacy, be a big part of that. I want to be a pillar of wisdom and articulate and able to deliver the wisdom that our kids and your kids are going to need.
Yeah. So passing on the wisdom is an important thing. That's something that's being lost in our society today. Young people are not seeing the value of older people and the wisdom that they can share, because we're being distracted with advances in technology, like people believing that they can do something to prevent themselves from dying, which, it's sad, but it's true. So what we really want you to focus on is actually increasing your quality of life. This is something we've talked about for many years. The quality of your life is what we really want to focus on. Are you having the energy and the vitality to do the work that God has called you to do at this time? And the work could simply be taking care of your family, which is one of the highest works that you can do. If you're an elderly person and you're not working anymore, get clear on what God wants you to share with your children, or even just do for your children or your grandchildren or those around you who need help.
Or family members in church.
Right.
We consider the church more into their lives as well and their families.
Right. So make sure you have your purpose, and then take care of your body and your energy. Follow the 7 proven steps. They'll really help you increase your energy and vitality. So you'll have a clear mind. You'll have the energy to do those things that God has called you to do, to serve those around you.
Yeah. There's 3 scriptures that really are foundational here that motivate. One of them is in 1 Corinthians 6:19. It says, don't you know that your body is not your own? It belongs to God. Therefore, glorify God in your body. The glory of God is to rest upon man. He has put his glory in us, his Holy Spirit, and he wants to manifest it, spirit, soul, and body. 1 Thessalonians 5:23, he wishes to set you apart, your spirit, your soul, and your body, to be preserved, blameless until he returns. He wants it pure. He wants it holy, set apart for him. Another scripture is, those of you that are married, wives, it says in 1 Corinthians 7:4, submit your bodies to your husband. And then husbands, you too likewise submit and give your body to your spouse. And one more that is just really one of my favorites in Romans 12. It says, make your body a living sacrifice. Christ died for us so that we could be living sacrifices here on earth for his glory, for his purpose. And he's got a great plan for our lives. I see it in ours. It's just exciting to be a part of. And it may be, you're in 1 minute, you're in the dumps and things seem down, but the next moment you're experiencing his glory and his presence. And he's with us, continues. He never leaves us or forsakes us. His name is Jehovah Shammah, means God is there in our midst. So focus on increasing your quality of lifespan, and that will reverse your biological age. And you can test your biological age, as Steve mentioned, with the body composition test. But you will also know that your biological age is reversing when you increase your energy and your body heals better and your skin looks better and your hair looks better. You'll see those signs. You start losing weight. Blood sugar improves. Start losing belly fat, which we measure on the InBody device. It measures the amount of visceral fat around your abdomen.
There's no way around the hard work it takes to take care of your body. There's no way around it. There's no trick. There's no hacking of your system. There are nutrients that you might be missing that you can get through supplementation, that you could say, some people would say that's a hack. That's just really filling in the gaps that our food has kind of created, our poor quality food. So 7 Proven Steps talks about these points. So get in there, download the 7 Proven Steps. Let's talk about this article. If they could turn back time, how tech billionaires are trying to reverse the aging process. So this gets into like what they're trying to do a little bit. And so let's kind of look at that. So there's more, there is more to death than old age, of course. From the moment Homo sapiens arose, which is kind of funny, from the moment God created us, we have been cut down by acts of violence, accidents, starvation, disease. To solve death would take far more than putting an end to aging, but the billionaires seem less fired up about solving poverty, war, famine, infant mortality, drug addictions, and so on. So it's kind of bringing up a good point. They're focused on themselves rather than helping the world with the issues that the world is having. And that's really one of the things that we talked about earlier. When you find a clear purpose and you're serving those around you, it gives you some clarity and energy in order to take care of yourself and increase your quality of life, increase your energy and vitality. Jesus did say, I came that they may have life and have it more abundantly. So if you're taking care of your health in the right way, it's not going to prevent you from dying. It's not going to prevent you from, getting hurt, right? If you get hurt because you're on an airplane or whatever, like a bomb drops and we all get, taken out. We can't prevent these things, and we can't prevent dying, period. We're all going to die one day, but we can improve our quality of life by the way that we live. So, so this article kind of gets into some of those details, things that they're doing. And
stuff.
It's getting into stuff that we would not recommend. We were talking about it earlier. People are like injecting stuff in their body. What are the things that you've heard in your experience? I mean, you've been coming in contact with a whole lot of stuff, but people are doing injections of
cortisone injections for pain in joints and tissue areas. But
what are those types of cells? Stem cells? They're getting stem cells, which
we have stem cells. We just have to feed them the nutrients they need so that they'll produce more cells and repair the body.
Right.
The body was designed to repair itself. Let's go after those repair mechanisms and quit thinking if somebody cuts on you, whatever they cut has to be repaired, and it creates more damage.
Right. Well, a lot of these scientists will say you have less stem cells as you age, but this is the issue, aging. Is it the age that's the issue, or is it the quality of the tissues, right?
The health of the cells, exactly.
Right. So you increase your stem cells by doing what?
Well,
following the 7 proven steps, right?
And you can improve the protection of the DNA of cells by high intensity interval training, doing the 7 proven steps. You can slow the degradation of cells and live a full, long life. Jack LaLanne was 95 years old, and I remember seeing him on television. He was promoting his book, but he was in good health at that time, but age 96, he died. And I don't know exactly how he died. My guess is that he pushed himself through all of the promotions because he had a new book, and he just was on television. He was traveling here and there, and it was probably too much for him. I don't recommend that for anybody age 95, even age 70. I wouldn't do that. I take more time off work now so I can do these things and get out there and sow seed into those of you that need it. And instead of just work. I just love doing this, to sow this truth out there to folks. So there's an article I want to talk about.
So there's one thing that we want to make sure you guys are aware of that can help you have an increased quality of life, so that quality of life span, what we were saying earlier, goes up until you die, rather than you dying with disease over a span of 10, 20 years. That's what we can avoid.
Yeah.
We can increase our quality of life all the way until the age that we die. We don't know when we're going to die, but we can increase the quality of our life while we're living. And that's what we're going to help you to do. So we're going to share this article right here. This is really helpful information. Why don't you go ahead and share talk about what we're looking at here.
EWG is the Environmental Working Group. And so that's EWG.org. And I encourage you to get on board with them. They're doing some great things to try to get the junk out of our society. And one of those things is glyphosate. Glyphosate is what is also known as Roundup. And in this article, they're showing some of the foods that have just incredibly high concentrations of this cancer-causing chemical.
Why does it cause cancer?
Well, it gets into the body and it causes disruption. I believe it's an estrogenic compound that's inflammatory and causes cellular damage, causes a proliferation of cellular growth, so that there's actually cancer cell growth from it.
Does it have something to do with it? It's not very easily detoxed from the body. Exactly. Is that part of the issue? Because our body is designed to grab toxic molecules and bind it and then break it down and then remove it. But some molecules are more difficult to deal with than others, correct?
Agreed. Yes.
Yeah,
most definitely.
So it's probably glyphosate, I would imagine, is a molecule that is more difficult for our body to break down than others.
I don't remember the exact literature on that, but who's an expert on that?
Dr. Jaffe.
Oh, he's an expert on everything. The guy's so well researched and read. But I was thinking of the guy that works out of the Midwest, and he's going to be one of the presenters at the IAACN.org conference. Encourage you guys.
Yeah, we're going to share. We're going to be there, so we're going to definitely share information that we get. from there.
But look at this information. In hummus, there's 5 times more glyphosate than organic alternatives. That's why organic food is important. There's oat breakfast cereals that have as much as 700 times more glyphosate than the organic alternative. So watch out for oats, folks. If you're not buying organic, you're getting heavy amounts of glyphosate chemicals. Granola, because they do have a lot of oat base in them. Oat-based granola, nearly 300 times more glyphosate than organic alternatives. And snack bar, on average, conventional oat-based snacks and snack bars have nearly 320 times more glyphosate than organic. So we're just trying to get people to stay away from the chemicals. We had talked about PFOAs and Teflon coated pans before, and you'll continue to hear it because it needs to be exposed and eradicated, and we need you to help do that. And when you get involved with EWG.org, they are involved in political actions to stop this at the state, local levels, and the national levels, to stop these chemicals from getting in our foods and getting in our bodies that are contaminating us and increasing disease, increasing our amount of debt, and illness is just on a rampant increase.
So it looks like one of the things that is connected is lowered manganese as a result of glyphosate. There's a study here. It says manganese is often overlooked but important nutrient required in small amounts,
micronutrient,
for multiple essential functions in the body. So you're aware of that.
Conversion of thyroid hormones. So a lot of people have thyroid problems, and I really have thyroid challenges, and I know that manganese is one of the cofactors that I have to take on a regular basis to keep that thyroid function working.
So if the thyroid is affected, how can that prevent the body from getting rid of cancer cells as it should?
So very possibly it may be linked to more, when we do more research on this, but I believe that there's more link to thyroid cancers as a result of glyphosate.
But thyroid is kind of a control center for certain hormone activities.
For multiple hormone activities, but it's mostly for cellular activity of energy production.
Right. So if the cell's energy is low, then as a result, it'll turn cancerous, right?
Everything shuts down. Immune system is weakened.
Right.
New cell production is stem cells, for example, are affected as well.
Energy is such a big issue when it has to do with health. So a lot of the things that you're going to focus on to improve your health will help your cells to be energized. And that's what a lot of these supplements that we use, the Prosper Nutrition formulas, a lot of them are designed to be enriching the cells so that their energy increases in different ways.
Well, the reason that we finished with this article, and I have one more tidbit we want to share, but is because we wanted to point out the fact that why we need to supplement. We talked about this last week. Supplementation is mandatory because of these problems. Your system, if it's being contaminated with 700 times the amount of glyphosate in just one oat breakfast cereal, well, how many more nutrients do you need than the silly RDA, which we're writing an article right now on that so people can really understand that in greater measure, that it's only set up for people who were already healthy 70 years ago. And it was to prevent diseases of extreme deficiencies, diseases like beriberi and rickets and scurvy, which you don't even hear about anymore. But we have all these metabolic diseases as a result of many toxicities and nutritional deficiencies. Nutritional deficiencies are key elements in really 92% of all disease. It's one of the 7 proven steps. We need to supplement our diet, key elements. That's why doing the education is key as you're doing and you're watching this video, but especially getting yourself tested. And
got to test.
You stepped up your game. You're a healthy guy, never have really any major health problems, but you stepped
little
up your
things
game
here and there. Well, not little things.
You did some more testing though.
Right. Yeah. I did the LRA just recently, and then I did the blood markers that you look at. So we're getting more clarity on what I can focus on.
Just fine tuning your chemistry. Notice the difference since you've done that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is something that I think a lot about, is how we work as far as our mind and how our mind impacts our health and the way we think. And I always was like, okay, do we need to do testing? Do we need to not? But testing helps kind of give you a marker and like, okay, if this is where I'm at, then, and I have the ability to measure the same thing again, I can see myself improve
or not. Yeah.
And so and this gives us feedback too of specific areas that we can focus on improving our health. It kind of reinforced for me things that I knew I needed to do, but it helped target them a little bit better. So yeah, it was really helpful to do that. And then with the LRA test, it's given me some clarity on the things that are a part of my daily life, especially foods that are healthy foods. But right now, for some reason, my immune system is having a low grade inflammatory response to those foods. My immune system is at a point where it's weak enough that those foods are not being recognized as healthy. They're being recognized as not so good for me. And there's this low grade inflammation that can prevent my body from healing. And that's my goal is I want to increase my cells' energy and my body's ability to heal. And so I want to reduce those for the next 3 to 6 months. So that's.
Hey, there's a testimony of one of my clients this week I want to share with you.
Okay.
And this is common. We see this often. Women get urinary irritations, urinary tract infections, vaginal discomfort, yeast overgrowth.
Yeah.
And we have them take our probiotic Max 10 and they put it in some water. And so you can use a douche bag or you can use an enema bucket and rinse out the vaginal area and it's gone. And of course, take your probiotics, but we've not seen in any one case where just 1 or 2 rinses and it was just taken care of. And I recommend that hygiene for all women after a menstrual period once a month or after intimacy with your spouse, whenever that occurs. If you're not having children and you just want to, because your spouse could be, co-infecting, maybe they don't have a good clean diet and they've got some yeast and that can infect as well. So just be cognizant of that and take advantage of just using probiotics. We used probiotics one time. We had a little baby that came into the office and had a big sore on its cheek. And it actually wasn't the baby that was coming in. It was the mom that was coming in for the appointment. She was actually doing a pickup at the front desk. And I saw the baby and said, "Oh, what's that sore?" And they said, "Oh, she has a staph infection." So I said, "Well, take the probiotic, open it up and make a paste out of it with some water and put it directly on the sore and then give some internally to the baby." And they had been treating this staph infection for 3 weeks without success. And in 3 days, it had completely cleared up using the probiotic 10 Max.
That's great.
So
the urinary and vaginal burning and irritation.
Yeah, gone.
That's great.
It's a matter of no time.
So when you get these nutrients in your body that your body has been wanting and needing, and you start taking these supplements, you will get results very, very quickly, much quicker than a lot of people realize. I've noticed that. And so get started. That's why we encourage people to get started with the supplements while you're figuring out and working on the 7 proven steps, because the supplements will start giving you energy and help you feel good right away. So definitely get a bundle. We're going to be offering a special here pretty soon. But actually, I had a testimony that I wanted to share of someone improving. If you, well, it's someone that a client at the office. You sent her to see me. Her name's Natalie, and she came to see me for an appointment. And she was having some issues with her knee and other health issues that. Well, she likes to be very active, but she's a mom and she's gone through different activities before, and she's hurt herself doing those activities, whatever it was. She's done different races and different stuff. So what she came to me for, I think you told her to come and see me because I could kind of help her prevent herself from getting hurt, to do exercises that can help your body be resilient and avoid those issues. So,
well, you do the functional movement exercises, which create literally a rehabilitation of the injured areas, the weak areas.
Right. Yeah. So that's another part of it too, is it can help recover those areas. So she came to see me. We had our first appointment. It was on Wednesday, and it was an hour session. I went through a lot of movements because I wanted to see what was going on with her body and how she was moving. And so she told me at the end of the session, she was like, she felt pretty good. She was feeling really good during the session and right when it ended. So, but she said that her experience with exercise, she would feel worse later. So she would do exercise session before, and later she would start feeling bad. So I trained her at 9 o'clock in the morning, 9 to 10. And then she texts me later and she sends me this text.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
My knee is feeling better than when I woke up this morning.
It also feels
significantly less tight and even a little stronger. I am a little shocked at how much better it feels.
Yeah. So that was cool. That was really exciting. And then we had another session on Friday and went through some other movements that we weren't able to cover on Wednesday. And then I was able to email her plan for the next 3 months that she was going to do.
Right.
So that's something that is so important. Exercise, moving our body in the right ways is really important. So, so if you have any questions about that, if you'd like to know more about that, you can get in touch with us. info@prospernutrition.com. I'd be able to catch those emails if you have questions about exercise. We can do distance stuff as well. If you're not in the area, you can send me videos of movements and I can evaluate them and tell you, and I can send you videos of how to do, movements. So it's possible to do it from a distance, like, video conferencing makes it possible. But in person works much better, of course, because I can, guide you in real time and, really work on the fine details a little bit more carefully. But that was something that was very encouraging that I wanted to share with you all. We're all getting results. My knee health and health, exercise and fitness has improved since I've been working on it more focused and intense. You've improved issues with your knee. Do you have any issues with that knee anymore?
Rarely. And I was playing golf 3 days in a row. And usually that knee will hurt at nighttime when I go to bed. But I was just doing my functional movements every morning and then stretching at night before bed and had no discomfort.
Wow. That's great.
And that used to be all the time when I would play golf after one day.
So were there some things you were going to share here to kind of finish up the end before we share the coupon?
Well, no, I'm going to save it for next time. I got some things, but I'll save it.
Okay. Well, why don't you tell them a little bit about the bundles that we're going to talk? Why don't you just talk briefly about these bundles and I'll pull them up here so they can take a look at it. We're going to offer you a special discount on 2 of our bundles, right? The stress and energy bundle
and the glucose
bundle. So we're going to show you guys these bundles here. We'll pull up the glucose bundle.
And folks, we take all this stuff.
Yeah.
There's the glucose support product. There's the bundle.
Accidentally added to the cart. Here, I need to share the screen.
Where is that? Now, the glucose support has some unique elements in it. One of the elements is an herb called French lilac that they use an extract to make metformin. But metformin, with all its other chemical compounds in it, only works for a short time, and then you start to lose the resilience of the cell. Where in this case, you use this glucose support, and it actually enhances the reversal of the condition of dysfunctional metabolic syndrome or diabetes or whatever glucose control issues you have. Works wonders. So the glucose support is excellent. If you're not in a window of 75 to 90 on your first morning glucose or a hemoglobin A1C, the low 5s or below 5 is ideal. So if you're 5.5 and up, you've got issues. You really need this bundle. I would encourage getting that test done. It gives you an average blood sugar control over a 3-month period of time. You need magnesium to metabolize and alkalize the cell to metabolize blood sugar. and to get it in there to burn as a fuel. Vitamin C, of course, a given nutrient for all metabolic burning of energy and cellular use of glucose. And then the cell energy, one of my favorites with the choline citrate in high concentrations here that really enhance the membrane of the cell to signal better, to open up and let in the signaling, whether it's coming from the insulin that unlocks the key so that the glucose transport mechanisms can pull up to the surface of the cell and then let the glucose come in. Zinc is also involved with that. Zinc is necessary for insulin production alone and other metabolites and enzymes within the cell to utilize. So this is just foundational stuff that all blood sugar mechanisms of the body use.
And there's a difference with the way you're getting these nutrients. There's cofactors, transporters in these products that help you uptake these nutrients better than other dietary supplements out there on the market. There's low quality supplements on the market that say they have certain nutrients in them, but your body's not going to be able to access them. So we definitely want to make sure that you understand that there is a difference in regard to the supplements that you're taking and how the energy is going to be available to your cells. Because what we talked about as far as aging and the disease process, what we mentioned earlier, had to do with energy, cellular energy, and helping give you the energy and vitality for healthy living. So that's important. The quality of the nutrients you're taking in supplements is so important. So the glucose support is going to help energize your cells in order to take in the insulin better, because the insulin the issues with the cell with as far as glucose problems is because the cell has become resistant to insulin. It's become insulin resistant because you've been bombarding it with too much sugars, most likely, or too much stress. And so the glucose support really helps balance that. And then zinc is important as far as energizing the cell in different ways. Magnesium and cell energy, the ascorbate, though there's different ways that our cells are energized, and it's important for those cells to be energized with those nutrients.
And we certainly can't forget the need for essential fatty acids. It's really assumed with anyone that you're taking omega fats. You cannot go without omega fats. And right now we're a little bit behind the curve on sourcing our pure omega-3, but it is the best stuff that's on the market.
Yeah.
And
we are out. I know why. It's, the manufacturing process, because of our quality standards in regard to our supplements, our manufacturers are telling us that they don't have it ready yet because they haven't been able to find the quality raw materials and make the product in that quality way that we make
quality fish.
Because fish oil is so important as far as quality and your body's ability to utilize that fish oil. So the pure omega-3 is hopefully going to be back in the next month or two. We will definitely let you know when it's back.
Yeah, and so the raw material that was shipped to them that they rejected ended up getting shipped somewhere else, and you probably
used by some other
products.
Exactly.
Getting those
that happens.
Oh, it's happening everywhere
every
day. 95% of the stuff on the shelf out there is got more contaminants in it than you want to be taking. So don't take a chance. It just is not worth it.
And then right here we've got the stress and energy bundle.
Stress and energy bundle. See that there? You got a lot of formulas in that we're going to do.
So some of the same ones: magnesium, vitamin C, cell energy, right?
And B12, stress and energy, and then the multi add a different aspect to it, giving adaptogen properties with the stress and energy herbs. And of course the multi.
The stress and energy actually acts on blood sugar balance as well, because there's herbs in there that help with balancing blood sugar. The rhodiola and rhodiola specifically.
Excellent.
Really has some good. When you're highly stressed, like we mentioned, your body's cells are going to get more insulin resistant because there's more blood sugar driven into your bloodstream, correct? Yeah. So that's one of the things that we like. When cortisol increases, there's more blood sugar in the bloodstream. Is that how that works? Right.
There's a stress response.
So that's one of the reasons why some people are becoming diabetic, and maybe they're not having as much sugar, but they're highly stressed. And so that combination is horrible, because sometimes when people get highly stressed, what do? They eat a bunch of sugar.
Exactly. So they could just suck on a little B12 and get a very low grade amount of natural sugar in there.
Right.
It's not even a gram, but it gives you that sugar sensation and helps with cellular energy conversion.
Now, why are multivitamins so important, and what's the difference with ours?
I think you could answer that even better than me.
Oh, really?
You're the clinical account specialist.
Yeah, I've been studying these formulas. So there's 40 different nutrients. So usually you're not going to get that many. And the nutrients that are in there, there's no the oxidizing nutrients aren't going to take away. So there's certain oxidizing nutrients that are not present in our multi for a very specific reason.
That are in most other multiples.
Yes.
Like copper, like iron.
Yeah.
And the pro-oxidants, when you put them in a supplement with antioxidants, it causes a tablet degradation. You lose the nutrient levels. You create oxidation, and the antioxidants lose their potency.
Yep.
So it's
and the way this product is formulated is with these types of salts in there that actually create more energy for these nutrients to be taken up. So that's something that's very rare to find in a multivitamin, is these Krebs energy salts. And it makes a big difference. Now, the supplement, we do have this regular size, the multivitamin and mineral. If that's too big, it's a pretty good sized tablet. So getting 40 nutrients in one tablet, it makes it a big tablet. But we do have a mini, which is essentially the tablet cut in half. So it's much easier to swallow. So if you guys ever have any issues with too large of a tab, then the multivitamin and mineral mini is what you're going to.
Well, they could also throw that in a blender with a smoothie.
That's true.
Be a good idea too.
Yep.
That's helpful.
You can mash it up in a mortar and pestle.
Yeah.
And then throw it in your smoothie.
Well, that's good stuff.
Yeah. Well, again, we are here every Thursday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time Zone, where we are coming with truth about health to help you prosper and be in health. We definitely want to make sure that you are helped. Let's check and make sure there aren't any questions that came through. Not any live questions, but we had some people jump on. If you guys jump on live next time, you can type some questions in the chat. If you're seeing the recording of this, please share any of the insights that you have, any testimonies that you have in the comments. Share any questions that you have. You can share them in the comments. We are available to and respond to those questions in the comments. So can you change your age, Steve? We can't change it. We wouldn't recommend trying to change it legally, but you can change your biological age.
Live younger, live longer. Thank you all for watching. We sure enjoy being here for you. God bless you all. May you prosper and be in health.
Take care.